Hello, everybody, and welcome into yet another edition of Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services, live from Walk-Ons. JT Crabtree, Pat Greenwood here. We've got a packed show here this week down from Walk-Ons. We've got, of course, soccer and volleyball to talk about. Of course, we've got plenty of South Alabama football to talk about. Quarterbacks coach Zach Chrysler will join us, and then the QBs as well. Bishop Davenport, Jared Hollins will join us.
Yeah,
of course,
the QB room is going to be here. I like it.
With Major Applewhite, of course, at the bottom of the hour as well. So we got a lot going on. We've got a lot going on involving South Alabama athletics as well. And let's jump right into it with something that is near and dear to several Jag fans, and maybe not every Jag fan knows about it. So let's tell them about it here with a pal of ours and a pal of Jag Nation as well, Kevin Williams, the son of our legend, as he called everybody else. He called me legend every time I saw him. But the legendary Hal Williams joins us down here on the show. Kevin, good to see you, man, and really excited about what we're going to be talking about here with you today.
I appreciate you guys letting me have a few minutes to talk about him, because any chance I get to talk about and keep his memory alive, that's what I'm going to do.
Let's talk about it. You've got a pretty cool event coming up here in October 3rd. We've got the Hal Williams, the third annual Hal Williams Memorial Scholarship Tournament.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about what that's about.
So, long story short, when he passed away, or when he was in the hospital about 3 years ago, Dr. Erdman came down and visited with the family and everything while he was in the hospital, and he just basically mentioned his legacy at South Alabama. And we got to talking after he had passed, and we had done the ceremonies and everything like that, and we said, well, what will his legacy be? And people that know him and people that worked with him knew what his legacy would be, but we wanted his legacy to live on. And we said, well, what's the best way to do that? We said, well, it's got to be a scholarship. We got to have something to his name, somebody, whether it be, X amount of dollars or a full scholarship, whatever it is. And we said, well, how do we raise money for that? What do we do? Because we don't have that kind of money, but we wanted to do it. And a couple of my brothers said, well, what about a golf tournament? And as soon as, the Spider-Man meme where everybody's right, they all pointed at me and said, you played with him, you knew what he was about, you knew all those golf guys, you do it. So we started this golf tournament. Our goal is to provide a scholarship to a South Alabama employee or student employee, whether it be a trainer, doesn't matter, equipment guy, somebody that embodied what he was. And he was Mr. South Alabama. I think Dr. Erdman called him Mr. South Alabama Athletics. And that is what we are trying to do. We are trying to get it to where we can provide a full scholarship for somebody that is not receiving aid that can carry on his legacy. And when I say he was the legacy of, he didn't care if it was mopping floors or cleaning towels or wiping table. He did not care. He wanted it to be the best first-class event, and he wanted the best product he could put out there.
Well, what better way to remember him, too? Because, if you knew Hal did everything, as you were saying. I mean,
that's right.
He's driving a tractor down Old Shell Road. He's underneath a table, trying to connect cables.
And the tractor, otherwise known as a golf cart.
Exactly. But he was such a good golfer, and golf was such a part of his life.
That's
so
right.
how fitting is it that's how we remember him?
And I'm probably going to get him in trouble a little bit, but there were some days that he would be out at the golf course when maybe he should be somewhere else.
But he always got his work done. So that's okay.
That's okay. Absolutely right. He never had any problems with that. But I can tell you so many stories. But anyway, he had so many golfers, and he had so many guys that he was friends with and knew this and knew not just through golf, but not just through the university, but through golf and being the golf coach and everything like that. The turnout has been phenomenal for the first two of these events. And I have to limit it to 30 teams. The first year I had to turn a couple of people away. I was able to get them in the second year. This year I'm right at 25 teams already. There's still a few spots available if anybody wants to get in, but it's a great time. And Dad was all about, number one, the great products on the field, but he was also all about having a good time. And for those that knew him, he enjoyed his golf and he enjoyed his golf time.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do. Just honor his legacy, keep his legacy alive, keep his name alive. And Dr. Erdman and them have been phenomenal to our family and everything else. Between the RV lot being named after him and the bench and everything like that, that has been phenomenal. And we are just trying to keep his name beyond that.
How cool was it when you guys got the call? You were mentioning about the RV lot, the bench, and now Hal's going into the Hall of Fame this fall here in a couple of weeks.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
November 1st. So I knew that he had been nominated. I knew that he was up for it. Dr. Erdman called my mother first and foremost, and then he called me right after, and I could hear a little crack in his voice, and I knew he and Dr. Erdman were close.
Yeah.
And I knew that they worked really well together, both professionally and then personally. And he had a little crack in his voice, and I immediately called my wife, and then I called my brothers and everybody else, and I think we all met at my mom's house that night, or maybe the night after, and we all just had a good cry, and we were all just laughing. And then we look at, my mom has a picture of him from his early days, or the late 80 days when he was here as a golf coach, when he had hair, and we just looked at it and said, you deserve this. And we all, had another good cry and another good laugh, and so it is awesome. I mean, it's really, I don't want to say humbling, but it is a humbling thought for him to be in that conversation.
Well, you say there's 30 teams that you can have in this tournament.
Right.
I think you get 25 now. What does somebody need to do if they want to get into this tournament?
All they need to do is text me or email me. Text.
You about to put your phone number on Facebook right now?
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. There is a flyer out if they want to email me.
Google
or
it,
check
right?
check South.
Yep.
I can send it out there. And please understand, I'm a middle school principal, so if I don't respond or you don't get an immediate response in that day, it's because I've got a 11-year-old over in the corner. He's doing something stupid. But just email or text me, and I can put you in. We've got the guys at Azalea City are phenomenal. They do a great job.
Yeah.
Colin McKern, who played for Dad at South Alabama, is the head pro out there. Or you can call out there. He can text me and say, hey, I've got this guy. The assistant pro out there, Chris Colburn, is a great guy. He knew Dad before he passed. They will take care of everything. Just email, text me, or call out to Azalea City, and they can take care of it.
Awesome stuff. Kevin Williams joining us here from Jags Live, from Walk-Ons, to talk about the third annual Hal Williams Memorial Scholarship Tournament coming up. It's October 3rd over at Azalea City Golf Course. Kevin, good to see you, man. Glad we were able to pump this up a little bit.
I appreciate you guys letting me have a few minutes to talk about it, because he was a character now.
If we could, we would fill this entire show with Hal Williams talk.
This is true.
There are stories,
we have many stories.
There's some okay for radio and some not for okay for radio, but we could fill it up. We could fill up multiple hours.
Yes.
Let's put it that.
Let's do that off the air sometime.
Hey, yes. Anytime you guys tell me, I'll be here.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kevin.
Thank you, Pat.
Appreciate it, Kevin.
Thanks, guys.
Hey,
Appreciate
we'll take a quick timeout. We'll continue Jags Live here. We'll talk some QBs when we come back on Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services. Good to catch up with Kevin Williams there in our opening segment. Talk about some really cool stuff got going on in memory of our legend, Hal Williams.
He was the best, man.
He was the best. And we'll continue to push some more information out about that. But let's switch gears. Let's talk some football now for South Alabama. Back home this weekend, open up Sun Belt Conference play. Quarterback coach Zach Chrysler joins us. Coach, appreciate you coming down here. Good to see you.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on.
Let's just talk about what do you guys take away from the Auburn game this past weekend?
It's a good opportunity, good experience to go up there and, playing against an SEC opponent. And, at the end of the day, you're never satisfied with losing, and that's what we talked about the last 2 weeks. We've had 2 close ones with Tulane at home and then going to Auburn and playing a ranked opponent. And, our kids played hard and they fought, but at the end of the day, 2 losses in a row. We're on a 2-game losing streak, and we've got to rebound and get back on the winning page as we start conference this week.
But we've been moving the football, and, we were very vanilla against Morgan State as we expected, but we've opened up the playbook pretty good against the last 2. Talk about Bishop specifically and the things that he's able to do and the options that he has every time he is back there in the shotgun.
Yeah, with a guy like Bishop, you got to defend all aspects of the game. He's really good with his feet. He's made tons of strides from last year from what I've seen on film since I got here in January throwing the football, and just being able to get him comfortable early in a game is really important for us, finding easy completions, kind of get him into the rhythm, to stretch the ball vertically down the field, and then he's always a weapon with his feet. He's such a good athlete that you always got to honor that and respect that with his legs.
How much of a commodity is it that you've got several guys, not just Bishop, that's, if you need to use your legs, you can a little bit out there, but especially when you've got a guy like Bishop where the pocket isn't just here. You can move it over here and slide over there and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, it puts stress on a defense, especially in third down situations when we're dropping back to pass. You always got to have a guy accounted for him, too, with his legs. And so with just his ability to run around and throw the football and, kind of be a true dual-threat guy, it puts stress on the defense because you always got to have a plan and of how to stop his run game as well with his legs. And so it's a huge benefit for us in the playbook and game planning. It opens up a lot of avenues that we can utilize.
And I'll tell you, I've been particularly impressed with the way Jared has progressed since the spring and since last fall. I mean, you're talking about a guy that is a solid number 2 that, we don't want Bishop going out by any stretch. But if Jared had to come in, I think we're okay.
I agree, and I think he is, like you said, you hit it on the head. He has made tremendous improvements from this spring. When all that went down, when Gio left, he kind of, he cranked it up a notch, and we had some talks and like, hey, you got a chance to, be a real 2 or go push Bishop for the job. And he had a tremendous fall camp. He lived in there, and he just, story on Jared, he slept in the locker room. He brought an air mattress up there, and he slept in the locker room almost every night. He would come in there and just as much, he's so young, people forget he's a redshirt freshman, and just, he is always hungry for more knowledge, and he's made tremendous strides, and, we feel confident, if he has to go in a football game, that we're in a good spot still, like you said.
Take us on your football journey. You're not from here, obviously. Kind of take us from where you started to how you ended up here.
Yeah, so I'm originally from northeast Arkansas, Walnut Ridge, about 20 minutes outside Jonesboro. So I went to school. I graduated from Arkansas State.
We'll forgive you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, go Jags. But I started off coaching high school football in Jonesboro in 2017, my first year out at Nettleton High School. I was there for 1 year. In 2018, I was at Pearl River, Mississippi JUCO in 18. And 19 and 20, I was at the University of North Alabama. And then I was here in 2021 as Coach Applewhite's GA, his first year here as a coordinator. I was here for a year and a half, the one season, and then I left and went to Liberty for one season in 22. And then I've been at Auburn the last 2 before I came back here in January.
Is Coach Applewhite different as the OC versus the head coach?
Yeah, he is. Not a ton, but, there's a lot more. You're basically the CEO of a company as a head coach, and there's a lot more things that he has to deal with than just being a coordinator. But just being here in 21 and coming back, I mean, he's really not much different. There's more on his plate, obviously, being the head coach. But as a person, he hasn't really changed much.
I'm sure as a former quarterback and himself, I'm sure he's in that QB room with you guys quite a bit over there, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely in there a lot, and that's how it always is, no matter where you go, when you have a guy like him that's played it at a high level at Texas. And, they're always going to be in there. And it's great for me, you know what I mean? And just, having him in there and when he is and when he's not. And, and I think that's the biggest thing. And when he hired me in January when he came back is, I want somebody that thinks like me, that knows what I want. And so just always staying one step ahead of him and, being ready to rock and roll, knowing if he is or isn't in there, then we're good.
We never know if the players know what kind of quarterback he was, but did you know what kind of quarterback he was before you were a GA?
I did not. I honestly didn't. Now, I knew who he was, and I'd heard the name, and, I went back and watched some highlights, but I didn't. I wasn't alive yet, really, when he was doing all that. I was young when all that was going on.
Guy could spin it a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely could.
And it didn't hurt that some guy named Ricky Williams was in his backfield,
no doubt.
too, right?
That always helps when you have one of those. Yeah.
Well, as we're getting ready for Sunbelt Conference play here this weekend, and we've got 3 games under our belt, what have you seen from your guys in your quarterback group, and what do you want to see them kind of continue to build upon here for Week 4?
Yeah, I think the first 3 games they've played well. Obviously not well enough to win. We're 1-2, and we've always been harping on this week is ball security, taking care of the football. Whether it's in the pocket or, at the end of the day, we can't give the other team the ball, and so that's kind of our biggest improvement and strides that we've been focused on this week is taking care of the football and not giving it to the other team. And we've shown that when we do that and when we take care of it, we can score in a hurry and we can score a lot of points, and we just got to hang on to it and not give it away.
And let's be honest, Coastal has struggled so far, but it doesn't seem to me that the struggles have come from the defensive side of the ball, which is a problem for you because that's going to make Saturday tough. But what are some of the things you see defensively from them?
Yeah, they're good, and it's a different scheme. They play 3 safeties, a 3 down. It's something different than what you normally see week in and week out. So it's a little different to game plan for, but they do a really good job on defense. If you go back and look at Coach Johnson, the DC's track record, they were 12th in the country in total defense last year at Louisiana Tech, and they were good at Kent State when he was at Kent State, and so he's always proven to have good defenses and create issues. So, at the end of the day, we're both 1-2, and it's week 1 of conference. They're going to come in here ready to roll, and so we've got to be prepared to go out and give it our best, and week 4 play our best game and get back in the win column.
Zach Chrysler, quarterback coach for South Alabama football, joining us here from Walk-Ons. Coach, appreciate you coming down here, and best of luck to you guys starting conference play this weekend.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me.
I'll go get him, man.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll continue Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services, when we come back. Appreciate quarterbacks coach Zach Chrysler joining us from Walk-Ons. Jags Live presented by Eco South Services. We're supposed to have the guys on here, Bishop Davenport and Jared Hollins, but
they have like meetings or something.
They've got something going on. It's prep or something.
Got a radio show to do. No, it's okay. The quarterbacks are on the way.
Yep.
But they were detained in a meeting. And look.
Detained sounds like such a bad word.
True. I didn't mean it like that.
They're held up.
They're
busy.
That doesn't sound great.
That's
either.
true. That's worse.
That doesn't sound great either. But they were in a team meeting, getting ready for the game this Saturday. So that's okay. We'll fill some time before the quarterbacks get in here.
Yeah, that's totally fine. So the quarterbacks and coach are on their way down here to join us at Walk-Ons, but we're preparing for the conference opener this coming weekend against Coastal Carolina. 6 o'clock kickoff from Hancock Whitney Stadium. Our pregame on the radio side starts at 4. It's conference play, like Coach was talking about there. Both teams are 1-2. Both teams are 0-0 and looking to go 1-0 in conference play. This is a big game coming up Saturday.
Well, and this is where it counts. I mean, no offense to any non-conference games, and we're not going to be in the national championship picture at this point, but we can be in the Sun Belt Conference championship picture.
Sure.
But it all starts right here, and the conference is where you play. But the downside is they know a lot more about us than any of our non-conference opponents. We know a lot more about them. As I was telling Coach, let's be honest, Coastal has not been lighting the world on fire the first 3 games. Big loss to Virginia. They did beat Charleston Southern. Mm-hmm. That was their FCS opponent, but they only beat them 13-0. Last week they got shut out against East Carolina. But it's been some offensive struggles from Coastal Carolina. The defense has been pretty good. They just kind of ran out of gas in that ECU game. It was a 10-0 game at halftime.
Yeah.
Now, that said, what does that mean for this week? Nothing.
Right.
It's a matter of when does that offense click. And if their offense clicks on Saturday, that could be an issue. They've got the weapons to make that happen. But I also firmly believe that we've got a great team that can make a great statement come Saturday evening. And, it would be good to start Sunbelt play with a resounding win.
Yes, absolutely. We did that last year on the road at Appalachian State, started 1-0, and that was really nice to do. On the road in a sold-out crowd, and that place emptied out quick when we started rolling on the
very
on the
quiet in the Appalachian Mountains.
Kid Brewer Stadium was not rocking that night. That was a lot of fun.
Yes, that was fun.
So hopefully we can do it here again this week. And you mentioned there, some struggles for Coastal offensively. They're last in the country in scoring offense. They haven't scored many points at all, 20 in total all season long. But again, it does not matter until we kick this thing off here on Saturday. They're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder because the result they had this past weekend was their first shutout as an FBS program, period, and their first shutout since 2011. I mean, this is, it's still a young football program, very similar to us. They started in like 2000, 2002, something like that. Right. And so they're still trying to build some tradition, some foundation as well, but they're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder on Saturday.
They will, but I think we will too.
Yeah.
I think we've got, we played okay against Tulane, could have won that ball game. Yeah, we represented well against Auburn, lost that one by 2 touchdowns. But, hearing Major talk to the team after practice yesterday, his message was pretty simple. Fellas, we're 1-2. Okay, you can pat yourself on the back after Tulane. You can pat yourself on the back after Auburn. You can pat yourself back on the back for beating an FCS opponent. But we're 1-2.
Yep.
So what do we want to be? Do we want to be a consistent 6-6 program that goes to a bowl game and everybody says, "Oh, that's great"? Or do you want to take that next step? Do you want to be a Sun Belt Conference contender year in and year out? And these are the type of games that start to determine that legacy. James Madison has been one of those teams that every year you talk about them in the Sun Belt Conference Championship. Louisiana has been that. Texas State has been. Of course, they're going to move on after this year. But do we want to be part of that conversation every year? And if so, they did not, in Coach's eyes, have a great practice yesterday. Coach Chris said today was a much better practice. But it's a matter of, I don't care what Coastal Carolina does. I don't care what their offense does. I don't care what their defense does. What can we do? Can we run the football? Can we protect the football? Can we stop the arm tackling? Can we get some good tackling in space? I know we can, but let's put it together and let's go win a football game.
Some other key parts were score touchdowns in the red area and stay on the field when we're on offense on third down, and get off the field on third down on defense too. Will be definitely some things we'll be looking to shore up here this weekend.
Yeah, and I thought against Auburn, we did some really good things. We moved the football.
Yeah.
I think they were very, middle of the road offensively, and they knew that they're if they don't make it on third, they're going to go for it on fourth. Unlikely they're going to make it because their offensive line was
it was pretty good.
Those are some big dudes.
Yes.
But defensively, they weren't vanilla. They were throwing some stuff at us, and we were moving the football. We were able to run the football against them. We were able to throw it at times. And at the end of the day, we were 27 yards short of what they had, which is a nationally ranked team. Yes, a lot of things to be happy about, at least, when you're kind of picking things apart. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we lost a football game. So how do you change that?
Yep. And so, again, a 6 o'clock kickoff coming up here this weekend against Coastal Carolina for the Sun Belt Conference opener. And we've actually got some kickoff times for some other games now coming out. Next week, the Jags will be back on the road for their final non-conference game of the season. It's an 11 a.m. ESPNU kick.
That's pretty cool.
It is, on the road at what has turned out to be a pretty darn good North Texas team that we'll face next week over in Denton. We saw them last year to open up the season. I love that we get the fact that we see them week 5, not week 1 like we did last year.
True.
But still be cool to go over to Denton, former Sun Belt Conference member. It's the first time we've gone out there since they were in the league back in 2012. And so it'll be an 11 a.m. kick for that one next week. And then the following week, week 6, the battle for the belt at Troy. Troy has announced that it'll be a 6 o'clock kickoff on ESPN+. Now, that is a little tentative because there's still the window where ESPN could say, you know what, we want to pick up that game and move it somewhere.
Right. I don't think they will.
Right.
I think it'll be a 6 o'clock game, but we'll know for sure next Monday when the network decides what games they're going to pick up. But we know that. And then, of course, the following 2 games, it's a Tuesday game at home, 6:30 against Arkansas State. And then a little over a week later, we're on a Thursday at Georgia State, and that's another 6:30 game in Atlanta. So after this weekend, we don't come home for a Saturday game until November 1st.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Till November 1st. And we only have 2 more because the schedule was so front-loaded in terms of home games that this is game 4 and this is our 3rd home game. So we really need the crowd out there, and this is a chance for a statement game. And we really need to make that statement.
Absolutely. Well, hey, we'll keep the show rolling here. We'll take a quick timeout. It's Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services. We hope you can join us. If you're not here already, we hope you can join us next week and the week after that. Not the week after that, before Georgia State. We won't have a show that week.
Then we start getting the weird,
yes,
weekday games, and do we do a show and do we not? Just follow the socials. We'll let you know.
Yes, we'll have a
I don't even know.
We'll have a Tuesday and a Thursday game back to back, so that'll be a little different on the schedule. But like you said, follow socials, and we'll communicate what's going on down here at Walk-Ons when we get to it. But hey, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll keep it rolling when we return. Welcome back to Walk-Ons. It's Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services. JT Crabtree, Pat Greenwood, talking preview ahead of South Alabama and Coastal Carolina for the Sun Belt Conference opener here this weekend. And joining us now, head coach Major Applewhite in the wind tunnel right there behind you.
Yeah, we still got some air conditioning issues here.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, this is a JT thing. JT likes having fans all over the place. Just
cool.
FYI.
Stay cool.
I'm a warm-natured guy, so yeah. But Coach, appreciate you coming down here.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Let's put a bow on last week at Auburn. What do you take away from it now, looking ahead to Coastal Carolina?
Just improvement. I think going into that kind of game, that kind of opponent, obviously you're going there to win the ball game, but just saw some improvement. We need to continue to build on that.
But I think your message to the team has been, you can pat yourself on the back after Tulane. You can pat yourself on the back after Auburn, but we're 1-2. So how do we take those steps to become a winning program year after year after year?
Well, you just got to make sure that we're all on the same page, and so when we addressed them as a staff Monday morning, it was like, listen, for 2 weeks now you've been told that was really good. That was really good. We're on a 2-game losing streak, guys. So I don't know, I love my mother to death. She's one of the sweetest people in the world. I love her to death. She's done more for me than I can count. But trying hard against Auburn and Tulane isn't it. I love you. I appreciate you. But who do you sanction? Who do you listen to?
Right.
And where do you set your tone based on that? Great that I'm glad that we got better at tackling. That's awesome. Let's get better this week. Ball security better with the running backs. Wasn't good with the quarterback in the pocket. Let's get better at that. That's twice that's happened now. Can't happen a third time. Those are the type of conversations that we've had, about trying to set the tone and just reset your mind as to what we're getting ready to go into in this conference play. And they're every bit as hungry as we are. They're on, they've lost 2 separate, with Charleston Southern in the middle there, but they haven't lost 2 in a row. But they're 1-2. They're trying to even it up, And so there's, it's conference play. It's you're playing in your neighborhood. Everybody knows you. They read your mail. They see you all the time. Conference shares secrets. Well, hey, when we played them last year, they did this. So it's different when you're playing Auburn. They've already thrown away that game plan. We're not going to play them again. So they don't even care anymore. So that's really what we've been focused on is kind of regaining the message as to where our focus needs to be, and understanding that there has been some improvement, but we want to continue to grow.
Well, let's look at Coastal Carolina now. Just what stands out to you? You mentioned 1-2, but it's a pretty talented roster they got over there in Conway.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, everybody has scholarships, and it's a matter of who shows up and who plays. And we've got to show up and play, and I want us to continue to improve. I mean, yes, results, I want to win. But I want to see the tackling continue to get better. Just the leading factors, in terms, are we handling the ball well? Are we tackling well? Are we not committing as many penalties? That's where we've gotten a lot better. We need to continue to see those leading factors, and then we'll get our results,
Coastal Carolina offensively hasn't done much so far. Doesn't mean they won't do, 600 yards on Saturday. What do you see from them offensively that okay, when this clicks, this guy is good, this guy is good, this team can play?
Yeah, 4-1 are explosive as their wideouts. They've changed quarterbacks. I feel like they've got a little bit more sense of who they want to be. And last game was tough against a really good East Carolina defense. And so, is it the defense? Is it the fact that they're still finding themselves? I don't know. I don't want to find out. But the 4-1 are explosive players. They've got good backs. They've had some injuries there, but they've still got good backs regardless of who they are. Defensively, it's tough. Virginia had 2 or 3 phenomenal plays. We had a 55-yard quarterback scramble, had a one-hand post route catch for about 50 yards down to the 3-yard line, then had a scramble that got batted around, receiver caught it and got all the way down to the 2-yard line. That's how they got their 21 or 28 in the first half. It wasn't just, hey, we're executing and we're a lot better than them. There were some freakish things that happened. So you got to understand that in terms of the type of opponent you're playing. You can't just look at the scores. You got to watch the game, see how it played itself out. But offensively speaking, 4-1 are really good at wideout. Their quarterback, they've got an identity now. What I expect from them is I expect a lot of 4 wides or 4 wide sets, with a tight end still a part of what they do. Very, for a lack of a better term, air raid. That's where a little bit of their coaching expertise has been in the air raid. But like most air raid guys, they've kind of grown a little bit and want to run the ball a little bit more. You've seen guys that are just not as sold out as Mike Leach was. So you see some run elements to what they're doing. You see some tempo. You'll see the quarterback, not necessarily so many design runs, but you'll see him keep the ball here and there. So that's what I expect to see from them defensively.
They've got
offensively, excuse me.
They've got a pretty big rotation of running backs they've been using too, right?
Right. I'm trying to remember the numbers off the top. 33 will play. I'm forgetting numbers right now, but one is injured. But they're like most people. They got 2 or 3 good ones that can go, and if they got one banged up, then it would be the same thing. Keenan and PJ, you'd go. But they've got plenty of good backs.
And defensively, last week's game, it was a 10-0 ball game, 38-0 by the time it was all said and done. But they gave up 21 in the fourth quarter. That defense was just gassed because the offense couldn't move the ball. Yeah,
and that's part of it, and that their defense allows them to play that type of ball game. Now, like I said, Virginia had 2 or 3 freakish type plays in the first half that flopped the whole field. But what they do defensively, the way they junk the front up, the way they blitz, the way they play backers tight to the line of scrimmage, the extra robber that they have in the middle of the field or their extra safety, kind of keep things underneath them. They make you earn it. And very seldom are you two big plays and you're off the field. You have to be able to drive the ball consistently. And so it's hard to put those kind of drives together so you don't score as fast sometimes. So you got to be patient. And I remember being as a player, our offensive coordinator would tell me sometimes, Major, these guys are, you're going to know where they're at, and we're going to go execute, and we're going to have a good ball game. Then there's this other team that they move their looks around, they junk up the front, they change the coverages. Sometimes they're going to get the better of us. And the way he likened it is sometimes, you operate with a scalpel, and sometimes you're going to operate with a hatchet. And this game might be bloody like that in the sense that they're going to get some. They are going to get some negative plays. They're going to cause some issues, but we've got to be able to stay on schedule as best we can and protect the football and punt when we need to. When they've had a good series, we need to end that drive with a kick and flip 40 yards of field and then start over again.
Coach Petrino was talking on Monday that their defense has some elements from the Rocky Long, the three guys up top, right? Mm-hmm. For the folks who maybe don't understand what that is, what can we expect to see from that?
Well, typically what you have is in nowadays football, you have like three wide receivers or deployed and one tight end in the box, and usually you're going to have a six-man box in there with two high safeties. Now they've got like a 3-2 box, so they've got five guys in the box, and they have one overhang that can kind of lend himself to be the sixth guy. And then they've taken out their fourth defensive lineman, and that guy is now a safety. And he's playing about 3 to 5 yards behind those linebackers, and he can also add as an extra hat. So what looks like a 5-man box very quickly can turn into a 7-man box. And by putting that safety back there about 3 to 4 yards behind your linebacker, he has the ability to play at the first level in the front, and he has the ability to take 4 or 5 steps back and play back as a safety and help in the passing game. So you blur the middle of the field, you blur RPOs and things like that. You also, when they recognize pass, that robber can get out into coverage, and you have a 3-safety look instead of a 2-safety look where there's a giant hole in the middle of the field. So it really, it's tried to slow down explosives, but also gain an extra hat in the box in the run game.
All right, well, Coach, we'll take a quick timeout, and we'll continue looking ahead to Coastal Carolina and Sunbelt Conference play here when we come back. It's Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services. We're coming right back. One more segment here with Coach. It's Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services. Coastal Carolina comes to town to start Sunbelt Conference play here this Saturday for a 6 o'clock kickoff from Hancock-Whitney Stadium. Coach, got the quarterbacks down here, too.
Yeah.
Man, how about the growth of those two guys with Bishop Davenport and Jared Hollins this year?
Well, quality people, and they're easy to coach for that reason. And I don't want to sit here and just go on and on and on and be all sappy, but the reality of it is they've been raised well. They're good students. They're good people. They have good character, and you can challenge them. They respond, they study, they have pride in what they do, they want to be great. So I'm very blessed to be able to walk in the meeting room, and Zach Pyron the same way, Bubba Thompson the same way. They have a very good room. Guys are pulling for each other, want the best for each other. That's all you can ask for as a coach.
And you know it as a player, the reception they got when they walked in the restaurant, probably a little better than yours.
Yeah,
I mean, that's quarterbacks come in. That's
deservedly
a big deal.
so. No, they're just great young men. They're working their tails off. We just got out of a meeting probably about 30, 40 minutes ago before I got over here, and just devout and good people, and they're great leaders, and they work hard, and they're never they live a life of no reproach. People can't question whether they work hard, whether they study hard, whether they go to school, whether they study, whether they're good teammates, whether they're doing the right things when coaches aren't around. They're those type of people.
As a former quarterback, obviously you know what these guys are going through. How do you as a coach versus how did you as a coordinator work in with the quarterbacks versus the running backs versus the receivers, the offensive line? You know the most, I'm sure, about what they're doing, but at the same time you've got a lot of people to look out for.
Well, it takes a village, and you got to have great people around you, and you trust them, and you communicate. And hey, Coach Petrino, I'm going to go over here during special teams and watch our punt, and I need the quarterbacks to work on these screens with the wide receivers, and it gets done. Or Coach Petrino's, you're going to take the wide receivers over here during this. Coach Chrysler, who works with our quarterbacks, I need you to work this drill with RPOs, this drill with play action protection. I'm going to go watch kickoff return, and be over there during this period. So just communicating with quality people who are competent, know what to do, and just that's it. I mean, there's no secret.
You're trying to pull all the secrets out of Coach.
I was just curious. If I was a former quarterback, I'd be tempted. I'm going to be in the quarterback room 24/7.
And I am. I mean, when it comes meeting time, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Zach and I run every meeting together with the quarterbacks. There may be a 15-minute meeting where, hey, I want to go into special teams meeting. We didn't do well, or we did really well. I got to give them some sugar. I'm always on them. So during these 15 minutes, I want you to do this in there with them. And and again, because of the kind of guys that the quarterbacks are, everything works. And so everything's working and jiving. It just takes communication and kind of delegating what we want to get done.
Can you talk about Zach Chrysler? You had him before as a GA, and you bring him back full-time staff. What's that like?
There's a lot of familiarity. Now the offense has grown in 22 and 23 and 24 when he went to Auburn, but he was here at the genesis, the beginning of it, and was here and understood the kind of the base rules of what we were teaching, and then he's been able to quickly come in and see some of the modifications that have happened over the last 3 years and some of the little bells and whistles that we've attached to it. Hard worker, farm guy, Arkansas, soy, dad, brother, him, 5 a.m., 6 p.m. I mean, he works. He works real hard. And all coaches stay up late and work hard. But he's very focused, driven, and is there for me whenever I need to do.
But that's the relationship you build when you got a GA that comes in and works hard. So you're looking for that spot. Was he just one of the first guys that came to mind?
Yeah, and he'd worked in that capacity a little bit with Ryan Applin at Arkansas State. He played for Harsin there at Arkansas State. He played baseball as well in college. Stayed in relations, with Ryan Applin. So a lot of the Gus Malzahn, kind of offense, that was kind of his background. And then when he came here, he got introduced to kind of the Alabama system of what we do. And so he's got some, he's been with Hugh for the last 2 years, so he's got some flexibility now. He can lend some different, you don't want somebody that's just only been in your system because what are they going to bring? The things that you taught them. So you would like to get some other people that have some different ideas. And so it was good for him to go away for a couple of years and be able to come back and bring some of those things back.
This is completely off topic, but you mentioned sleep with the guys and whatnot and how hard Coach Chrysler works. Big Ten Media Day a couple of weeks ago, they released a video of all the coaches. They were asked in season, on average, how much sleep do you typically get on a game week? How much sleep are you getting, Coach?
Probably between 5 and 6.
Okay.
That's not bad.
That's pretty solid.
I'll probably get up 5:15, 5:30 at the latest, but probably somewhere between 11:15 and midnight. Call it quits.
All right. Brett Bielema was saying hope for 4, lucky to get 2 or something like that. I mean, that's a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, if you can't get it done in this amount of time, you're not a good coach. That's not true.
Sure.
Sometimes you got to turn over more stones and you got to stay up there later. Sometimes you go until the work's done. And I think what we do a good job of, and I'm big on it, is I don't like a lot of wasted time. I do not like I do not like walking down the hallway and seeing 4 coaches in an office, spitting in cups talking about their last boss. Like, I do not like that. We have families, we have children, we have a higher calling than that. So we need to get our work done, get it done thoroughly, but then we need to go home and be fathers and show up at football games like last night and do those type of things.
So getting the work done, how has it been this week? I know today Coach Chris said basically that today was really good.
Yeah, I really liked our practice today. I thought the intensity was good. I thought the effort was really good. Defensively, I thought some of the communication that I saw in the team periods was really good. Offensively, I thought third down, our passing game looked good. We were going where we needed to go with the ball. There's always things, and I mean, we're built that way as coaches. You're always told never be satisfied. There's always better. And so we're going to go out tomorrow and we'll have a better practice than we did Wednesday, and that's what we talk about. Let's just stack the odds in our favor.
Right.
You do that through quality work, quality preparation, and these guys have responded and done a great job. And I'm very proud of the way they're playing. I want them to continue to play at that level or higher. And what better chance to do it in conference game at home in Hancock-Whitney Stadium and open up the season in conference play this way. And we just need to go put out our best effort.
It's a 6 o'clock kickoff this weekend against Coastal Carolina. Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Thanks for coming down here. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, JT.
That was good.
All right, we'll take a quick timeout.
It's good.
It is. We'll take a timeout. We'll continue. We'll wrap up Jags Live here when we come back. Appreciate head coach Major Applewhite joining us here from Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services. One more segment here. Let's talk with the QBs. They were a little tied up earlier with the team meeting, but hey, you guys got to get some work in.
You got something
Forget about the radio show.
Exactly,
Bishop Davenport, Jared Hollins joining us now here from Walk On. Guys, just take us through the week. How's it been going so far?
It's been going good, Scouting Coastal, they give a different look, but it's nothing we can adjust to. So it's been going good, just day to day.
And as you get into conference play, is it different this week? Just a little bit, knowing that conference play starts. We're at home. We need to start on the right foot here.
Yeah, of course. The momentum is everything, but other than that, the season is a season, and the standard is a standard. So that's what we've been focusing on since Morgan State.
Jared, let's talk about your fall camp here, man. You had a pretty good fall camp. That had to feel pretty good, right?
It did. It means a lot.
What was working for you? Was it just another year? You're comfortable in the system. What was it that you just kind of it all clicked?
Well, I think a lot of it is I've been here a year and a half. Finally, I came in and it just felt natural. It started to feel real natural, but also working with these guys every day, like I can't never come in and have a bad day or a bad week. I got to play up to what they play at.
Well, watching you guys interact before we came on the air, you guys seem to get along. I mean, how important is that in the quarterback room that you guys just make each other laugh and you hang?
It's very important because you can just talk and not have so much tension because you know you're competing. But at the end of the day, it's just, it is what it is, and just the relationship, it helps.
So, Bishop, what have you seen from Jared? And Jared, I'm going to ask you the same thing. What have you seen from Jared as this season has progressed?
Just a lot of development. He's learned the game more, transitions from high school, and I love to see it, honestly, because it reminds me of when I was, grinding and working my way to the top.
And Jared, what have you been able to learn from Bishop?
Bishop, he studies the game. He knows it in and out. And when I first got to South, he would always help me out with my tests. I'd be like, hey, Bishop, what is this? What is this? And he would always help me out. And that's kind of where our relationship started, and, it's built on that. But I feel like Bishop's always been one of the, to me personally, fundamentally wise, the best quarterback in the room since I got there. And that's not just because he's right here. I mean, I say that at home with my family too. So I'm trying to get like that one day.
You guys have two different journeys to get here to South Alabama. Bishop, will start with you from Spring, Texas to Logan, Utah. Now back out over here. What made you want to come over here to South Alabama?
Just the culture, the experience with the coaches. Like, I love it. Like, they have so much experience. You can't ask for more, honestly. And just the opportunity at hand, it was like, it's a blessing, honestly, because of how it happened. I just love it. Like, it's close to home and just South. You can't beat the South.
And Jared, for you, this is home. Just what factored into wanting to stay home here at South?
Well, for one, that's one big reason it's home. Two, at the time I was coming in, Coach Applewhite was the OC, and I knew he was one of the top guys in the country at developing quarterbacks. So I don't want to say that too loud. He don't need to hear me. But, you know what I'm saying? That was a big factor in it. But at the end of the day, it's just a God thing. Like he said, it's just a blessing to be here and be able to play this game. So it's all God.
And we've got 21 players from the Mobile-Baldwin County area. What does that mean? You've kind of seen South Alabama grow as a football program throughout your high school career. Mm-hmm. What does it mean for the local high school athletes now to know that, yes, you can play here, you can develop here, this is FBS football, and this is a place for you without going outside the city limits?
I think it's a huge recruiting pitch for those guys that's like you say, inside the city limits, and they can look and see that there's guys actually playing and developing and getting a lot better and actually putting stuff on the field. Like last year, Anthony Eager scored against LSU. This year he had the most receiving yards against Auburn. So to just be able to look and see the guys from your hometown doing it at a big level or high level, it means a lot.
You got Chris Wallace had 8 tackles this past weekend.
Oh, yeah. Chris Wallace balling too. MGM alum.
And we can brag on you guys a whole bunch, but how much easier is your job when you've got a guy like Kentrell behind you or PJ or Keenan or those guys that hey, give me the ball and I'm just going to back up.
I love those guys, man. Kentrell runs so hard. PJ as well. All the guys in the running back room run hard, and I love it. I do. I love throwing the ball as well, but when you can just hand it off and get 5 or 6, even a touchdown, you can't complain about it.
Well, you got to have a special relationship with the guys up front at the offensive line, right?
Yeah. Them guys silly, bro. They got to be serious at times, but them guys silly, bro. I tell you, they are. Them dudes silly.
Do you have anything you do, like, in the off season to, like, get to know those guys up front, like, before the season starts, or does it just come with camp? I mean, you guys are around each other all the time anyway.
Camp and just hanging out with them, like, anytime you get the chance. I know we see them dang near every day, but just hanging out with them outside of it, even if it's just playing video games or something, just building a relationship is always fun and helpful when it comes down to the season.
The stereotype is always that the offensive linemen are the smartest guys on the team. Is that true?
No. For my offensive linemen, yes, y'all are. Yes, y'all are the smartest. Oh, man. I think they get hit too much in the head or something.
All right. Who is the smartest position group then on offense? It's got to be QBs, right?
I mean, yeah, of course. I don't want to just take that title, but yeah, QBs.
And then offensive linemen.
Of course, the tight ends and the running backs, the wideouts have a lot to learn and know, but yeah.
But we've talked a lot, too, about the receiving core, and that was a young group coming in. How have those guys stepped up? Boyson obviously has been here for a while. Eager has been here for a while. But you got a lot of young guys that are getting opportunities and stepping up as well.
I feel like Petrino and Applewhite helps a lot with that. Of course, Devin is a veteran, so he's in the room. He can help physically, but I feel like Petrino and Applewhite has got them guys ready to go, and even themselves just knowing that they have to step up, I feel like they're ready for it.
How excited are you guys to get conference play at home to start this year?
Very excited. Very.
Yeah.
I love our fans, I love the community. So I'm very excited.
And Coastal has struggled, overall. That doesn't mean anything when you kick off the ball on Saturday.
At all.
Jared Hollins, Bishop Davenport joining us here from Walk-Ons. Jags Live presented by EcoSouth Services. Guys, appreciate your time. Get some food. Get out of here. Get ready for Saturday.
I love walk-ons. I love
Guys, appreciate it.
Yeah, y'all have a good one.
All right, give it up for Bishop Davenport and Jared Hollins here real quick. Join us for a bit on Jags Live presented by EcoSouth Services. And we've got just a couple more minutes here to wrap up the show. Again, 6 o'clock kickoff against Coastal Carolina. It's the Sun Belt Conference opener for South Alabama and for Coastal for that matter. Pre-game coverage starts over here at 4 on Saturday. It should be a fun one, Pat.
Yep. And I'll have the call, of course, on ESPN Plus, so you can listen to it, you can watch it. You got a couple of options, but we'd love for you to put your butts in the seat at Hancock Whitney Stadium and be part of the crowd. But again, it's a different feel. I know we got one more non-conference game left, and we'll worry about all that next week.
Yep.
But I do believe, and I understand I got red, white, and blue glasses, and I always will, but I do believe we're building something special here. Yeah. But in order to build something special, there's got to be some consistency. We have trended that way over the past couple years, but we're not there yet. This is another potential big step to get there and to get there consistently. We need to make a statement on Saturday.
Yep, absolutely. Again, 6 o'clock kickoff against Coastal Carolina. Then if you missed it earlier, we've got 11 a.m. next week at North Texas, 6 o'clock against Troy the week after that. We'd love for you to join us. If you can get out to North Texas, that's great. That's a long way to go. But we know that the Troy game is a lot easier to get to. You can get tickets online for that one right now at usajaguars.com/tickets for that Troy matchup on October 4th. That'll do it for this week's edition of Jags Live. Appreciate you being down here. Appreciate you listening in. 6 o'clock against Coastal Carolina. Let's go start Sun Belt Conference play 1-0.
Let's get it.
Let's do it. Jay's up. Go Jags, baby.